Morning everyone, or evening, afternoon, whichever it is over there. How's it going? Just setting up here. So who have we got first in? I've got Kathy. Hi Kathy, Mary, Janetta, Ray, Debbie, Helen, Linda. So have I got lag today? I'm not sure. I try not to have the video going at the same time as streaming because it seems to make it a lot slower, but so guys, who's ready to do the next part of the image? Got a couple of minutes before we all start, but just wanted to see who's following along today. Janetta, I actually find blending prismas is harder than polys, so I think it must depend on the paper. I quite like polys. They blend up really nicely. I was just doing it. I'm doing an image at the moment in the Girl with Poems Momo Girl book, and I was using Prismacolor, Polychromos, sorry, and it was coming out nice and smooth. And then I decided to have a go using the brighter purples in the Prismas, and I wasn't impressed with how it came out. So for me, I actually find polys a lot easier to use. So I think they have to be used in a completely different way though. Polys are a lot smoother, and you can, I think, push too hard on them, which stops them from blending easily as well. Hi Lo. How are you today? So I've got my equipment. I'm using my little dusting brush. Not that I need it much for the polys, there's not a lot of dust. I've got my mono eraser. I've got my Caran full blender, which I actually don't think I put on the list, but I've got the Caran full blender. It's in a extender so I don't break it, because this is my little bowl of brokenness here. My son made me this little bowl, and yeah, I can't hold them, so these will end up in pencil extenders at some stage. Hi Sharon. I've got my Luminance white, which all the paint's coming off, but that is a Luminance white. And I've got my polys that I'll be using today. Hi Randy. Got your Dolly Parton ready to go. I'm going to be using Burnt Ochre 187, Yellow Ochre, or Light Yellow Ochre 183. I've got Ivory 103 and Cream 102. So I wanted to do kind of yellow blonde hair today. Oh, I'm getting text messages. My phone's vibrating away here. from Jasmine Beckett, actually. That's nice. I'm just sorting out all my stuff here. So we're just talking about polys and prismas, and I was just saying about the differences. I'm just going to show you what I'm doing now in Momo Girl. So here I've used polys, and just in the glove you can see how rough that is and how it's not smooth. That's in the prismas. So, and I haven't just not finished down the bottom here yet, but I think it depends on the paper that you're using. It depends on the pressure you put on the paper and things like that. Yellow blonde hair, yes. So golden blonde, is it? But yeah. Yeah, so Momo Girl's taking me a long time. I don't know, it's probably halfway through, hey? It looks halfway through. Starting to look good. Hi, Loretta. Hi, Dawn. Mary, that's funny. So we've got a few in here today, which is great. I'm so excited to finish this one up. This has only got, so after today there's 2 more weeks left. So make sure if you want to grab the image from the event, make sure you join the event. The link to all of that is in the description, so check that out down below. Also, anything that I'm using today is in my kit, so you can check out my kit. There's a couple of different kits there, just listing all of the products that I use as well. And there's a favorite products links also in the description. I've also put last week's video in the description as well, so if you didn't catch last week's and you want to do the skin, I've popped the colour list and the video link there in the description as well. So make sure you check that out. Sorry, Loretta, not much happened. I said hi to everyone. Guys, if you want to chat and get my attention during the colour along, make sure you pop your text in caps so I can see that you're asking me a question. Otherwise, I'll just think that you're having conversation in the group. Also, I think that's everything that I really wanted to run through with you before I get started. If you would like to check out the artist, all the details are in the description as well. I'm not sure how to pronounce it. Is it 80 Schaffer? I don't know how to say her full name. It's I don't even know what language that is actually. I know, bad. Anyway, I'm going to start with the hair today, and then we'll move on and finish the flowers and the butterflies in the next one, or maybe just the flowers in the next one because there's quite a few of them, and then the butterflies in the background in the last one. So we will get started. Now, I'm not... hair takes a long time. I want you guys to take your time. Don't rush it. It is a process, and it can be very mind-numbing and relaxing. But yeah, it does take a long time to do, and I like to take my time with it, doing individual strokes and strands of hair. So lots of flicking. I'll just do a little bit of an example first, and like my marker page, it's very messy. Hi Jennifer, thanks for joining. Anyone else pop in while I was chatting? So I'll just zoom in a little bit and I'll just do some flicks. Excuse my messy marker page. But all I'm going to be doing is, with my pencil, I'm kind of holding it lower so I can get a good flick on the pencil. And I'm just sort of flicking out just like that, or down, depending on which way you like to go, or sideways. And it's firmer in at the top section, and you just sort of lift your pencil up so that it goes like that. It's kind of a tick without actually having the little tick bit. So that's all I'm going to be doing, is just little lines like that. And when I come in with the different colors over the top, I just continue following. Usually the lighter colors I'll make longer, so we're going to go longer, and I just maneuver my hand up and further along the page, and then say I'm going to go darker again, but I don't kind of follow the same lines, is what I'm trying to get at here. To get lots of texture, there's going to be loads of lines in one part of the hair, so that we can create some texture. Also, to having it that we have firmer here at the start and then lifting it, we're going to have a lighter section in the middle, which will be this sort of bit here, and then when I do my hair, it kind of joins together and makes a bit of a highlight in the middle. So I like to work on it on, I'm just making sure no one else has popped in. I like to work on these sections. Had Mary, another Mary pop in. Hi Mary. I like to take each section of hair, so each sort of, I'm going to use this as an example here. This section here is a part of hair, so I like to work on them as individual sections so that I know I'm getting the right amount of light and depth in it. So I will work on coming up from this direction and then coming back down from this direction, so that we've got a highlight here in the middle section. On a piece of hair like this one here, we've got our kind of valley or low point here, so it's going to be darker down here, and then it's going to be up the top here. This is going to be lighter because it's a risen or high mountain part of the hair. It's going to be closer to you. To make it look closer to you, we would make those sections lighter and then these sections darker. So I hope that makes a little bit of sense there. And then obviously we're going to do that over the whole hair area of hair. Also too, I'll just mention that things that are sitting on top of the hair, so like the flowers, you can see that there's a marked shadow here. This will be obviously a lot deeper than this section of hair here because it's got something sitting in front of it. The same for the butterfly on the top here. There's going to be more of a shadow behind there where it's sitting on the hair. And I don't think this one's actually sitting close to the hair because it's so far forward. We probably wouldn't have a shadow there, but we'll just follow what the artist has drawn in anyway. Alright. Now, I'm just going to have a drink because my throat's really dry this morning. I've had 2 with the flu. I'm hoping that I don't get it. No, not necessarily. A lot of artists do put darker sections on the tips of the hair. Excuse me, but I think it just depends on how it's sitting. In this case, yes, the tips will be darker. And the reason for that is that we want to make a highlighted section. So to create that highlighted section, we would do those bottom sections darker. Alright. So, shall we get started? I'm just going to zoom out a little bit. Or maybe I need to stay zoomed in. Let's just stay zoomed in there. Okay, I've got my burnt ochre And I'm going to come in and do the shadow areas first. Just got my brush there. Alright, just checking here. I think we'll start on the bottom section of hair here, the first piece. I think that we're going to have dark from the top here, so I'm just going to flick like I was saying before. Just lines down. It's going to be a little bit darker behind her neck there, sort of coming back around and over her neck there. So all I've done is, I don't know if you could see that as I was going, but done a darker lines and flicks out, just individual strands of hair, just flicking down. I'm going to use this section as a bit of a highlight there because it's already been marked in, so I'm just going to flick up from the middle of that grey section, and I'm just going to curve my strokes in the direction the hair is going. So I always like to follow the directional angle of the hair. So flicking out. We're going to have to go back in and deepen these up, but I just want to sort of mark it out first. So going from the middle of that dark section, I'm going to come back down, curving around the angle of the hair again. Just like that. And then coming back up towards the middle. So this section of hair is going to be darker because it's sort of curled under. So we were talking about it having the ends of the hair being darker. In this case it's going to be. Okay, now I'm just going to go on the outside of each of those sections as well. That's it, that's all we're going to do. Just saying hi Laurie. Laurie. Alright, I'm going to start on the next section of hair, so coming from the top there, just flicking lines down. I'm kind of using medium pressure because I'm holding my pencil quite close. It's a little bit firmer than doing the skin, but it's still a light layer. So just coming back down from this section, being a shadow behind that section of hair, it's going to be a little bit darker there, and then flicking down, curving it so that it follows the hair around, and coming up from this bottom section, so just curling it round. Some of these strands, or the longer the darker color, we can do up and through if you like, so don't stress if you do go a little bit too far, but we want to make sure we leave as much of a gap as we can so we can add in that highlight color as well. So just coming from the bottom there and flicking around just like that. This section down here is all dark, so that's all dark because there's shadow on the top section and there's shadow at the bottom, so we'll just cover that in. Moving up to this section of hair here, so this piece here actually comes up and under and back out up the top here, so it's part of this section of hair. So just flicking out. And around just like that. Back down the other side. Okay, so you might not be able to see it very well in the camera. Let me just reduce the brightness for a minute. But you can see where I've gone over here with the darker colour and how we're starting to drag it down. Just lighten that back up again. Good morning. This section at the top here is coming underneath this piece of hair here, so this is going to be slightly darker. I'm just going to go and just sort of lay down a little bit of pencil in there just to close in the gaps there and just make that a little bit darker there. I'm going to do the same with this piece, so I'm just sort of lining it in, filling out the colour right on the edge of the hairline and then flicking out from there. So we're really creating some depth in there. We can come back in later and maybe add a little bit of a darker brown in there if we want it to be darker. But her hair is going to be quite light, so that will probably be dark enough for a shadow area. I can see you talking about me, Linda. Now, this section here, I want this to actually be light. Now, there is some grey scratchiness through there, but I'm going to leave or ignore that slightly. I'm actually going to bring these lines just down a little bit further, like that. And I'm actually going to start my own darker section down the bottom here and just bring that up towards the light area. So that's actually going to be a highlighted spot because it's so high. It's a mountain. So from that section down the bottom there, I'm just going to flick around. The good thing is doing it or starting that darker section there, there's already a darker area under here because of the curl. So we're just sort of, you know, creating some texture. Coming back from the opposite way, again, we've got darker tips. Hi, Beverly. Just following it around. We're going to have some wispy pieces of hair there. So I'm just going to flick those out a little bit there. Just curve around towards that area. Thanks, Linda. So guys that are here for the first time, I'm getting messages from Heather Valentine now. So all artists this morning. What was I going to say? I forgot what I was going to say. Doesn't matter. I'll remember it later. Oh, that's right. New people. The style of video that I do for patrons is very similar to what we're doing today. So full tutorials with voiceover is available on Patreon. So if you'd like to check that out, and most of the speed colorings that I've done on my channel, I have full videos for on Patreon. So if you wanted to check that out, you're welcome to come along and check it out. Got a few patrons with us today. I'm very popular. I wish I was in real life, hey? Popular here. I'm a hermit. I never leave the house. So how do I meet people? Okay, just continued. So I've done this section down and I've just sort of darkened up that line there. And I've come up from that section. So this is quite dark down there in that part. So I've made that dark. Alright, just coming back down from this tip of the hair here, I'm just going to flick out a few little strands, just some stray hair out there as well. I'm flicking back that way, following the direction of the hair. Okay, so I'm going to work on this colour first and then we'll go back and do some darker colours. I'm going to start on the bottom on this side now. So just following the artist sort of shading because it's already kind of shaded in. I'm going to do it darker here underneath the flower. I'm just going to line around it first so that I know that this section is going to be a lot darker, and then I can work out where I'm going from there. So I've just gone around the flower, so all of those sections we're going to have lines coming out from there. There's a bit of a twist in the hair there, so some lines down from there. I'm going to come up from the item. So because the flower's here, there's a shadow, I'm just going to flick up towards the other shadowed section. Flicking down and then coming back up. There's not going to be a lot of highlight in there because it is a dark area of hair, but there's still going to be some colour change through there because I want to put the other colours in there as well. That's right, I'm in jail. All of our doors and windows actually have alarms, so... Alright, so just coming in behind the butterfly wing here, just lining it in first, and then flicking out from there. This section here is going to be darker because it's a bit of twist in the hair there. I'm going to come down, there's another twist. These are kind of like plaits down here, but it's just twisted hair. Just coming down, following the direction of the hair. No, I am definitely not, Linda, thank you. I am living, I just don't get out much because I'm always here. Good clarification there. Alright, so we've created a little bit of shadow in there. I'm just going to come in here around this part of the flower. Just line that in and then flick out towards the other side. So just remember each section of hair, or each sort of little layer of hair here, make that a section and work on each individual section so that you can see where the highlights and the shadows should be. Okay, coming back under this flower now, so I'm just going to go around it, put that darker area in. Always follow the direction of the hair. So I'm using Nina Classic Crest paper, whoever was asking, Solar White Smooth. This is the 80 pound. There is a 110 pound I think as well. I haven't used the other one. I like it, it's nice and smooth. It means I don't have to put as much pressure on to get a nice smooth layer. Helicopter's going over. Shadow doesn't like helicopters, so she's immediately looking up. Just coming out from that dark, just flicking out towards the opposite side of the hair and coming back up. So this section here is going to be a little bit darker. It's sort of underneath the flower and her face there. Alright, so we're getting a little bit more detailed up here around all these flowers, so I'm just going to go in and line around all of those now, just so I know where each part is. So just coming in, lining around, just up here. Okay, so there's like a gap there, but most of that's going to be darker because we've got two items sitting on the hair there. Yeah, I think the whole weekend's going to be really nice here actually. I think we've got 18 on Sunday. It's going to be nice. Good time to wash sheets. Nice change from the cold, miserable weather we've been having. So I'm just going in and filling out some texture in those smaller sections down there now, just to get them out of the way. Okay, just filled that in. Coming back up here, adding a few more lines in there. Okay, that's the shadow there. Just clicking that up. My chair is really dodgy today. I had dodgy lights earlier as well, they were flickering away. Give it a bash, it always works. Okay, we're almost out of the flower area down the side here, so that's good. So your next layer of colour is going to be a little bit quicker because you're going to be putting a little bit less in, and then obviously the last colour is going to be even quicker again. Just turn it upside down so I can just grab in here. Looks like this is hard. There's a bit of dark in there. There's no hair showing at all in that section, so up the top here there's a bit of hair here. I'm just going to fill it in with the solid colour because it's quite dark in there. Just coming around all those little flowers. Just going to put some texture lines through there, but there's no sort of highlight area there. We'll just go and fill in a little bit more colour. Power's out. Oh no. Is that from heat or just... Hi Katrina, thanks for joining. I'm just having a bit of a drink here. I'm getting dry again. Okay, so we've got the top of the hair here. So there's like a crease all the way up and it comes all the way around there, and the hair kind of flips over the top of the head there. It's just the fringe that's sort of more forward. Just going to keep going and following the same sort of technique, just going around those flowers, making sure I've filled that in so there's a shadow there. I'm going to flick out from there and then back down again. So flicking up just like that, following the direction of the hair, coming back down. So flicking from that shadow area, curling the flicks around to follow the hair. Wow, it's warm. That's about our normal weather though in summer. Well, not this summer. This summer that's just gone was really cold. Alright. Just going to continue on looking at these pieces of hair here, making sure I've got my shadows where the flowers overlapping, and flicking out from there. Making sure I follow the same direction the hair's going. So as I said, time consuming, but kind of mindless. There we go. Alright, I'm going to move on to the other side now. I'm going to start back on this section here because we haven't finished that there. Just going to come around from the darker side down here. Now this piece here is kind of a little bit confusing, but you just sort of got to follow the top of the hair down. So this actually is more raised than this lower section here. So I'm just coming down from there. And it looks like we're going to have a little bit of a highlight on this one anyway, so I'm just going to go from there up and back down, following the same direction. So we're going to have a nice highlight section there in the middle of both of those. Tiny little bit behind there, I'll make sure I grab that. There we go. Almost done the first layer, yay! Alright, so the next colour along, we've got 2 weeks of this one left, but the following one we're doing a special colour along with Heather Valentine. So she's agreed to do a exclusive image for the colour along, which is awesome. Bit of fun, some Halloween themed stuff. So we don't actually celebrate Halloween here. I mean, we do because there's obviously a lot of other cultures living here, but it's never something that we've been really into here. We don't even usually get people knock on our door, so it's not not big. Bye Hillary, thanks for joining. I didn't even see you come in. Alright, so I've just gone around the butterfly there and I've made those sections a little bit darker there. I'm going to move to the top. I'm going to turn it around because I don't have a lot of room in front of me here. Just flicking. So this whole section under here is dark, so I'm just going to go and line in there, keeping that nice and dark. Coming back from the middle part there. My pencil's getting a tiny little bit blunt now, so those little, so it was really nice and sharp and now it's sort of softened off. I'm just going to make it a little bit more pointed. We definitely have all seasons in one day here. I've just made it a bit more pointed again. I'm just going to continue. I like to try and keep it nice and sharp, and when the strokes start to get a bit thicker and that pencil starts to flatten off, I just like to try and go back in and sharpen it. So if I was using Prismacolors, I probably would have sharpened my pencil twice over already, because it's a lot softer and they blunt off a lot easier. So using polys for hair is a great idea because you get way more out of your pencil. Okay, I'm just going to line, these lines here that are defining each section of hair aren't very dark, so I'm just going to make sure I line down those all the way around. So just coming back up and all the way around. I actually believe that that should be a highlight, so I'm going to sort of stop here, come back up there. Around a bit. Okay, and now the top section, I'm just going to line around that first because that's nice and dark. And I'm going to flick out from that darker section. Flicking my pencil around and following the line of the hair. Hi Rosa, thanks for joining us. If you're watching and you can't seem to comment, or I'm not answering your comments, it could possibly be that you're actually just making a comment in the comments. So make sure that you've clicked on the live chat section of the video, which is just underneath the video, and you'll be able to pop a comment in there. You do need to be logged in to be able to comment though, so just to let you know that too. Now, there's no shadow just here behind this wing, and I'm going to assume that it's because the butterfly's on a bit of an angle, so I'm just going to follow what the artist has drawn in and do it as if it's not sitting on the hair. Just coming around. Just like that. Okay, so I've lined over all of the hair. I'll just pull out the zoom out a bit and you can have a look. There you go. So we're going to have this part here quite light because it's a mountain. But I can see the lines through there, but once I start to put in the lighter colour, we'll be right. I'm going to start next on light yellow ochre, which is 183. Shadow is asleep, Linda, sitting next to me in the sunshine. She's loving it. Getting her vitamin D, hey? So I'm just going to come over the top of the previous colour. But these lines I'm actually going to make a little bit longer. So I'm going to try and bring them further in towards this highlight section. I'm not worried about going over other lines or trying to go in between. I'm just laying it down roughly. Making sure that I'm doing it evenly over those areas. So this is kind of the golden colour that we're using now. Hi Kimberly, thanks for joining. Hi Simone, thanks for joining. I'm just going to zoom back in again so you can see what I'm doing. Zoom, zoom, zoom. Alright. So just coming around over the top of the previous colour, and I'm just making these lines a little bit longer so that they're coming towards those highlights. So we'll be able to gradually see the lighter colours coming out in those middle highlight sections. Not doing as many strokes as I was doing earlier either, because we're kind of just sort of filling in the gaps and increasing the texture. Just down the bottom here, that's quite dark, so there's no sort of highlight in there, but we'll still try and put the colours that we're using in there anyway. Still creates a little bit more texture, makes the hair colour look more even too. Just coming out and around. Back up again. Trying to turn my paper so I get the best angle on my lines. So we're coming up now to this really high valley piece here. We're just trying to work around each section is a part of hair, so making sure that I've got a highlight in each of those sections. Now some of those strokes that I'm actually doing, I'm going all the way through the highlight section just to meet some of them up together, because there'll still be some dark sort of strands through the middle as well. I think I've done all of that. Just this little bit down the bottom here. Okay, so you can sort of, I'll just zoom back out so you can see where I started to fill in more colour. It's looking a little bit more yellow now, more golden than the top section. So we're just going to keep working on it till we fill out the whole area. Okay, so zooming back in, I'm just going to keep moving around. Thanks, Linda. We're going to be doing, I think, blue and purplish kind of coloured butterflies. So maybe some Delft Blue, maybe some aqua in there as well. I'm not sure yet, but I sort of wanted the eyes and the butterflies to sort of marry up with the pinks. So quite a large light section in that one. So orange and blue are complementary, and yellow and purple are complementary. So we'll try and sort of mix up those colours together. And we'll have a little bit of green as a contrast colour too, because the flowers have got stems in them and some leaves, so that will be good. Just take your time, Kimberly. It's better to take your time and enjoy the process than rush through it and then at the end not like the finished product. So just still putting a little bit of colour into that darker grey section down there as well. Just flicking around with this colour now. So you can tell, or you can see that this layer of colour was a lot quicker than the previous layer. I've almost finished this side now. Kim, no, this is an artist called Ivory Schaffer, and she's provided the image for people in my group for the event, so for this colour along event. So if you'd like to have a look, all of the links to the group are in the description below, so you can check that out. Make sure if you're joining the group for the first time that you answer the 3 questions, otherwise admin won't let you in. And it's in the events tab, and it's also listed, if anyone else is also listening and is in the group already and not sure where things are, the groups have all been sort of updated, and we've now got units and announcements and events. So I've actually placed all of the links for the colour along events under units. So if you go to units and go to the bottom, the very bottom, that's where we're working on now. She has got big hair. Randy's called her Dolly Parton, so Looking good. Starting to move down here. So I'm trying to do golden blonde hair, so I'm going to use some cream. If you don't want it that yellow color, you could probably just go straight in with Ivory and then go and deepen up these shadow areas again. But I'm going to use a bit of cream in there to fill out some more texture. It'll make it look a little bit more yellow. So I've almost finished this layer now, just coming down to the bottom. Ah, been lurking in the background there, Kim. This image is available if you don't want to join the group. It is available on her Etsy store as well, so I've popped the link in the description for all of that too. So just make sure you read to the bottom of the description. There's loads of information in there. Just roughly putting in some colour in these areas because it's quite dark in there. There's no sort of texture coming through. Okay. Just adjusting some of the colour. Especially in those shadow areas. Alright, so just zooming back out so you can see that. Now we're going to come in with the cream and I'm going to put that yellow tone through. You can't actually download the image onto a mobile device. You have to do it from your computer. So I found that most people who have done it off a mobile device haven't been able to print the image out. It comes out weird or with lines or whatever. So if you are trying to download it, it is an image file and it's better to do it on the computer. Okay, I've got cream and I'm going to come in. I'll just zoom back in again. I'm going to repeat the same steps I've just done. This time I'm going to come out further and connect the sections together. So coming right over the middle section now as well. So I'm coming into the dark areas, adding a little bit in there as well, and then coming straight over those highlighted sections. So we're going to use some Ivory as well to go in and put a little bit more texture in. If you didn't want it this yellow sort of glow colour, you could leave the cream out, but it looks quite nice and golden with it in. Going straight across now. Coming into the shadows as well as coming all the way across the highlight now. Nice and quick this layer. And I can see that I'm going to need to go back in with these shadow areas again because they're not quite dark enough. So I'm going to come back in with that darker colour and darken them up. Okay, look, just a little bit down the bottom there. Good thing is you can tell where you've missed because it's a different colour to everything else. So I might have zoomed in a little bit too much there, and I'm thirsty again. Yeah, Mum is okay. Loretta, this was from the group, not from the shop, so the group image that we've got up. Yeah, you can email it. I use an iPhone, so you can also open it in iBooks, and then you can print it from there too. But I try to do everything on my computer with stuff like that. It just makes it a little bit better quality. Just kind of being rough up the top there. It's right near the butterfly wing. I don't want to have any sort of white paper left. I want to try and put the ivory in over the rest of the white areas so that we don't have any white paper. How are we going for time? I've still got half an hour. Plenty of time. Just popping a little bit in the back there. Coming down the right side now. Hi Anne, thanks for dropping in. How's that looking there? I think we've got some nice even colours. It's starting to look good. My pencil's getting quite blunt here though. Not quite so bad on this layer because I want to fill in a lot of the white space, so I'm just going to leave it for now. On this paper too, it indents really easily, so having this smooth like that's fine for these larger areas. Okay, I'm just going to zoom back out again. Okay, now I've done the hair color, I can see there's areas that really need to be deepened up. So before I do the ivory, I'm going to come back in with the burnt ochre and just put in a few more darker lines in there just to deepen up those shadow areas. So I'll start here, just deepening up these lines and shadows. Every time I say shadow, the ears prick up on the shadow over in the corner. Just coming in and flicking over all of that colour, just creating a little bit more depth in there. Okay, so you can see where I've started to do the darker colour now compared to the side I haven't done. It's really starting to look a lot more textured, and it looks like there's more of a deep highlight section and a deep shadow section, sorry, and then a really nice light highlight section. Just have to add a little bit of a deeper shadow area on this side, I think, to make that highlight look like it's popping out there a bit more. So I've just increased the shadows on this edge and flicked out from there. Just going to zoom back in again. No worries, Anne. There we go. Hair, beautiful hair. Hi, Grace. Looking good. Yeah, it is. I had to play with a few different combos and this is probably the best one. I just scribble them down on a piece of paper and have a play and see if they fit together. Just deepened up the shadow on those turns down there as well, making those a little bit darker. So because they're sort of underneath the hair here, just sort of making those slightly darker. So underneath here, I'm just making them darker. It's really starting to stand out now. White hair. Yeah, I haven't done white hair. I mean, the Chris and Caran one that I did the other day was purple and white. But yeah, I don't know how could use greys, I guess, through white hair. Imagine those older ladies that have white hair with magic silver white through it, so purple tinge through it. Reminds me of white hair. Okay, I'm much happier with the depth in those pieces of hair at the back there. I'll just zoom out so you can see the difference. So these are looking really quite faded and out. You can't tell there's shadow areas through them, and now that we've gone back in, we can really see those areas deepen up, and those highlight areas then become more shiny and bright. I think I missed this bit down the bottom here. I'm just going to darken that up. I'm using firm pressure now to go into those areas. I want that completely flattened to the tooth off in those areas now. Okay, I'm going to come into this side and do these. Really put some depth in there and bring those flowers forward off the page. Now I could try a darker brown, but most of the darker browns have got really red tones to them, and I wanted to try and keep it more blonde or more yellow. Perhaps not platinum blonde like Dolly Parton, but Loretta, when you're working on hair, if you work on just using, say, that section there, work on that solely until you've got it right, and then move to the next section, you'll find that it's less daunting having so much hair. I'm just using one color at a time because it's a little bit easier than swapping around all the time, but when you're doing it at home, why not just work on one section, get it right, and then move on to the next. Hair actually used to be my least favourite thing too. Actually, the very first Jasmine Beckett girl I did made me get over my fear, because she had loads of hair. And I was using markers too then, so... That's much better. Just deepening up the rest of the areas under the flower. So these areas are actually quite dark because they're in shadow, so I'm just making sure I'm filling out those a little bit better. Just kind of blocking in the colour, I guess you call it there, just to make sure it's nice and dark. Looking good. I'm just going to turn her upside down and start from this bottom down here. This lower piece down here, I'm just coming up from there. I've just added that darker section in a bit more down the middle there. I've created two parts of hair there now. So when I follow that line down, I'm just sort of flicking out from there and around as well. So coming up there and just flicking out from the side of the hair. I'm really emphasizing these little parts of those sections too, so these lines that are down the middle there, I'm making sure that they go right through, and that's helping to create our sections of hair too. My pencil's starting to get blunt now. I think I'm going to have to sharpen it up again. Bye, Grace. Kim, I'll do it after the video's finished today. I'll accept it in. Hi, Sylvie. Alright, how are we going? Who was following along today? I'm not sure. Kathy is, I'm sure. Kathy is there in the background, watching and lurking. I know she's there. I think I'm almost finished with this darker layer. I'm going to go back in over the top of all of this with some Ivory. Just help to dull off some of that orange. Hi Charlotte. If it's looking too red, then putting a little bit more cream in, and then the ivory will help dull that off a little bit. Just darkening up these sections here, and then I think I'm done. I was so excited this week. I hit 1,000 followers on Instagram, which was really nice. Might have to do a giveaway, maybe. I have to have a think about it. I'm doing a giveaway for patrons, $5 patrons on Patreon at the moment, so once that's over I might have a think about it. Thank you guys. Yeah, I was pretty happy. It's been a long time in the coming though, that one. It's Instagram's a hard one. I don't know why people like and then unfollow and follow. It's kind of weird. I don't do that, but yeah. It was good. It hit 1,002 I think yesterday. I was like, let's just put a post up anyway. It's just hit, but it's an achievement. Okay, I think that is looking much better. Those shadow areas are looking a lot more dark, and they're making those lighter areas look more forward. I'm going to come over with cream. No, I don't have a copy of Serene. It is so hard to get. I got mine on Etsy, I think, from someone. I don't know. Just go search Serene on Etsy. Just coming over the top of all of it, just laying this down. I'm trying to flatten off the tooth, and I'm going over some areas that only had the cream as well, making sure that they're nice and flat. Just flattening off the tooth now to make it smooth, I guess. And remove some of that really orange and yellow ivory I've got now, by the way. Did I say that when I picked it up? A lot of the tooth is flattened off, but I just wanted to go in and make sure it was nice and flat. Make sure I'd covered all areas as well. Still trying to use lines through to keep the texture as well. But I'm kind of going backwards and forwards over that now. Okay, just softening that off. When I scan it in, you'll be able to see that light a bit better too. I'll just, you can sort of see the lights are actually making it look a lot brighter than it actually is, so it's a lot deeper in these shadow areas here. I've just changed that lighting to see if that would help a little bit. Yeah, I paid a fair bit for Serena. I think I almost paid $100 for the whole lot, including postage and things like that. May not have been quite that much, but it was, yeah, quite a bit. I'm just so glad that he did another Serene book, like another lot of them, because the first lot I missed out on. Still using the Ivory, just going in and softening the tooth off of all that paper there now. There was only a few sections that didn't have any colour on them. You could also do this with white if you didn't have Ivory. Ah, Cool Craft Books, go! The lovely moon will help you out. Almost done. Yay! So now with this paper I'm using, I've got no tooth left on the hair. It's completely smooth. But with these oil-based pencils, you don't get any like wax bloom or build-up. So even though I've flattened off the tooth, you can still get the colour coming out of your pencil. So if you wanted to go back in and do another layer of, say, the next lightest colour, you could do that. Just build up the texture. I actually got an email from Moon this week, and she she convinced me to buy another book. Oh no. So complimentary to Momo Girl. I'm looking forward to seeing what it's all about. I ended up getting it. It's a new book from Momo Girl. She's it's a tutorial book. And I thought, why not have a look at it? Because it may help you guys. So if I get it and show you what's in it, you can then decide if you wanted to get it or not. Yeah, I want to have a look. I'm curious to see. I think I'm done. I think we're done. I'm just gonna, looking in the light there, I think this just section here. Sometimes stepping back from the image and having a look at it helps you to see what might be missing. I think that's not quite dark enough there, so that's a bit better. I think the light's a little brighter on that side though. What do you think, guys? Just zoom back out or zoom back in so you can have a look at a close-up. And then zoom back out. I love the zoom. What did you see yesterday? Sylvie, I'm not sure what you meant by blend. Do you blend? Yes, I blend. Oh, Serene, yeah. She's looking really cool. I know that I've already done pink lilies in a couple of things, but I really like pink lilies. So I think we're going to go pink, and we'll have some blue with purple in the butterflies. And the background, we're also going to have green. And the background, I'm not sure yet what we're going to do. I may do a pale blue in the background, perhaps. I think that will make her hair and everything really stand out nicely. I don't even think I'm going to need to do any adjusting off camera now. I think it's pretty much done. I think we had plenty of time to do that one, which is good. I have a couple of tutorials on Patreon, which includes rose gold, copper, gold, and blue shiny effects. So those are on there, and the blends. So I've done them in the videos include marker and 2 different types of pencils. I think I've got polys and prismas in it. So if it's something that you're interested in, I do have that on Patreon. Now I just realized her eyebrows haven't been done yet, so I'm going in with some burnt ochre and just going over and adding a little bit of that in there, because I think they need a little bit of colour. They're fairly dark, so it's not hard to just put a bit of colour in there. They just look a little bit closer to her hair colour now. The light area has a few lines through it, and then I just covered over the white areas with the lighter colour. But I don't actually blend it smoothly together. If you have a look close up, which you might not be able to see with this light, the lines actually go all the way through. It's really hard to see it though in this light. You might be able to see it better on the scan when I scan it up, but there's definitely lines through those highlighted sections as well. There's like an ivory line and then a cream line, and sometimes I've put the darker line all the way through too. So it's all lined in there, and when I went over with the cream, I just flattened off the tooth in between those lines so that it looks nice and smooth in between. Blue background sounds good. Yeah, I'm thinking maybe maybe pale blue, because she's got like blue purple eyes, and the butterflies will be quite bright, I'm thinking. So I'm thinking maybe a pale blue, and that should bring it all out. But I will have a play and see. So you guys got any other questions? Anything that you want to know? There's a shop that I've actually got. Actually, let me just find it for you, because I actually have a flip through of the book, and I actually popped the person I actually purchased it from on Etsy. So let me just have a quick look. Okay, so I think that's where I got it from. I'm just having a look to see if it's still available, but it's not. From Colourful Birdhouse is where I got it from. Actually, I've just found another version of it. Give me a sec, and I'll pop it up there for you. There you go. Serene. The first one didn't work, so but there was a picture of the another one there, so you can see that. Hi, Shadow. Hi. What are you doing? Shadow's come to say hello, or say goodbye, I should say. Meow. If you don't know, Shadow's my Bengal. '70 East books. I've seen a few from there. Oh wow, Linda, that's no good. Who's doing that? Yeah, she finally made her appearance, Loretta. She's been napping away, but as soon as I start to talk a little bit more full on, she thinks I'm talking to her, so. Kimberly, I've just accepted your thing into the group, by the way. And a few others while I'm at it. Who does that? 70 East Books? So who was the shop that was doing the PDF, Linda? That's just terrible. I hope that... Oh, okay, yep. Okay, so 70 East Books is the one that does the little bags. Is that what you were saying, Lo? I haven't brought from 70 East Books. I've brought from Colourful Birdhouse. It was brilliant. It came... I actually ordered two Nicholas Filbert books, Serene and the other one Urine, or Urini, whatever it is. I ordered both of those from her, and that was really good. Momo Girl, hey? Huh. It'd be great though if Momo Girl brings out a PDF, because it's so hard to get her book. But yeah, it'd be great if she brought them out in PDF. Aw, Linda didn't get a bag. You should go complain. Oh dear. Yeah. So Moon from gosh, I can't even remember the name of it now. I'm having a blank moment now. Cool Craft Books, sorry. Colourful Birdhouse is good, I've brought from them too, and Cool Craft Books I've brought from. I haven't brought from 70 East Books. I was going to get some Chinese colouring books from them, but I ended up getting them off a Chinese website through a friend, so that was better. It was heaps cheaper too. So guys, don't forget to like the video, and if you haven't subscribed, make sure that you subscribe. Follow me on Instagram and Twitter and Facebook. Come and join the Facebook group. Do share, that's right. Share. When you do your coloured image and you show your WIP, tell them you're following the... tell them that you're following the colour along, and see if we can get some more joining in. I think we've got a few more than we have in the previous time, so it's good to get a few people in. Yeah, Chinese websites are silly, especially when they have pop-ups, because they don't they don't translate the pop-up pages. But anyway, yeah, click the little bell. That's right. Thanks, Loretta. Click the little bell and you'll get notifications. Well, I hope you do. I know that sometimes you don't. Kathy, thanks so much for being here. And I can't wait to see your WIP either. WIP, work in progress, by the way. Thanks, Randy. And the hair looks good too. Thanks, Lo. Thanks, Sylvie. It's so good to have you here. It's all awesome. Alright guys, I'm going to sign off for now, so I will see you in the next video, and come and join the group and ask any questions that you need to, and I will see you next time. Bye guys, thanks again.